In my last video, I shared the story of a scammer who forged autographs on T206 baseball cards and cheated people out of thousands of dollars. Well, in order to add a bit of balance into the universe, I thought I'd follow up that video with one that is of a very different nature. In this video, we're going to look at the story of a man who donated the entirety of his valuable sports card collection to a children's hospital. When Mark Rybczyk was a kid, he loved collecting baseball cards. In 1971, he inherited some baseball cards that dated back to 1953 and that had sparked off many years of enjoyment in the hobby. Up through his college years, he continued to collect both singles and unopened sealed boxes of sports cards. However, sometime into his early adult life, as has happened to many a sports card collector, he gradually drifted away from the hobby as his life took on other priorities. He went down a path in the field of radio broadcasting and eventually became a very successful radio host in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Then, sometime over the past 3 or 4 years, he began to think again about his old baseball card collection. He knew exactly where his cards were, safely tucked away in a closet, and he knew that among his collection, he had some that had increased in value quite significantly over the years. So he came up with a plan for what to do with them. The first thing he did was called up Heritage Auctions, so he could gain a better sense for how much value his old collection was worth. Looking through the collection together, Mark and one of the folks at Heritage Auctions came to realize the collection was indeed quite valuable. Not millionaire type of valuable, but still quite valuable. Several 1960s Mickey Mantle cards, Roberto Clemente, Willie Mays, Ernie Banks, and plenty of sizable lots of sought sets from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Now, for most people, when they come to realize their old collection is worth quite a lot of money, that seems to inspire one of two common responses. One, they decide to get back into the hobby and continue to grow their collection. Or two, they take it as a fortunate windfall and work on selling their old collection to tuck some extra money away into the bank or fund some new purchase of some sort. But Mark took a different path. In his work as a radio host, he had regularly been part of different fundraising campaigns for the Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth. Over 10 years, he had been part of campaigns that had raised over $4 million for the children's hospital. Through this experience, his relationship with the hospital grew to the point where he became a member of the board of directors for the hospital's summer camp for children with cancer. He had a deep connection with this hospital and in supporting their important service. So for Mark, when it came time to decide what he should do with his valuable collection, there really was no question. Working with Heritage Auctions, he decided to have them auction off his collection and give all of the proceeds to the Cook Children's Medical Center. The fact that he donated his entire collection to charity without any expectations in return is something to respect. As often as we hear scam stories in the hobby nowadays, it is important to keep in mind that stories like this are also part of the hobby. The hobby is a reflection of who we are as a society, and it's stories like this that inspire me to think about the hobby beyond just my own personal enjoyment. So for that, I thank Mark. I'll end this video with a quote from Mark that he stated to a journalist who covered this story. "I knew I had some valuable cards, and with my involvement with Cook Children's over the last 10 years, it seemed like this would be a great fit. The cards will wind up with someone who appreciates them, and it goes to a good cause. It now seems like this is what they were meant for all along."